BWOne here from BWOne, and Google has finally become a wireless provider with the announcement of Project Fi today. So they're looking with Project Fi to really disrupt the whole wireless service provider network out there. They're looking at AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile and trying to pretty much kind of disrupt the market there and give you something a little bit different that maybe benefit all of us a little bit better. Let's talk about how Project Fi sort of works. Let's first start off with sort of how the network works. So basically, the network is going to be a combination of a couple of different technologies put together. Now, they're going to offer 4G LTE, and while Google isn't going to be building out their own network, they're going to be making partnerships. So for 4G LTE, the partnerships are going to be between Sprint and T-Mobile. And now they're also going to be adding Wi-Fi as well too. So they're going to be different Wi-Fi hotspot partnerships that they've also made as well to bring this network all together. Now, the way the Fi device is going to work here is it's going to be able to tell which service is the best for you to give you the best service possible. So if it can tell that Sprint has the best 4G LTE coverage, it's going to choose Sprint. If you go into a little bit of a different area and it's T-Mobile that has the best coverage in that area, it's going to give you T-Mobile 4G LTE. And if Wi-Fi is the best out of all of them, it's going to choose Wi-Fi instead of that. And this Wi-Fi hotspots kind of across the globe in partnerships, and also your own Wi-Fi at home as well too. You'll be able to use the Fi service. Now, as far as your number is concerned, your number is actually going to be in the cloud. What this number in the cloud allows you to do is basically you can use your phone on any device possible. So it doesn't limit it to just a typical cell phone. You can use it on a cell phone, a tablet, or maybe like something like an Android TV, Android Wear device, whatever has connection, that number will be able to work anywhere across the board. Very interesting. I really am interested in how the handoff sort of work and how well that works, and if it's going to be secure, especially going on Wi-Fi spots that might not be the most secure. There's a lot of hacking in those spots as well too. Our phone's going to be safe. It's a couple questions to ask sort of with that. Having a number in the cloud is pretty cool. It's basically the evolution of Google Voice, so to speak. So that makes a lot of sense that they're kind of doing it that way. And I think having it that way and be able to just use multiple devices and whatever device fits you best at that time is going to be very, very good. And I think a feature that a lot of people will really, really like. Now, let's talk about how they're going to bill you for all this, because obviously Google's got to make some money off of this. Why, or the reason would they be pushing this out here? So basically, the base plan starts up at about $20 a month. Now, that $20 a month is going to give you unlimited voice, unlimited text, and low-cost international dialing. So you'll be able to call internationally. I think they bill you on whatever permanent rate based on the area that it is and so on. You kind of get the idea there. But it's going to be at a much lower cost, probably closer where the Google Voice numbers costs were, so to speak. Now, what they charge you per gigabyte on is on the data. So 1 gigabyte is going to be about $10 a month, and 2 gigabytes would be $20, and 3 gigabytes would be $30, and so on, all the way up to 10 gigabytes for $100. So that's combined with the $20 sort of base plan there. So you put that all together, it seems like, well, that's kind of typically what the other carriers sort of charge you here. But it's actually a little bit different here. So what's cool is that you're only going to really get charged for what you use. So let's say, for example, you go all the way max out, you spend $120 a month on that plan, which you give the base plan plus the 10 gigabytes of data, $120 a month, which also includes free hotspot as well too. You don't have to pay extra for that. Now, let's say in that month, you only use roughly 1.2 gigs, 5 gigs or so of data. You don't use the whole 10 gigs. They're going to give you a credit for all the data that you didn't use. So you're only going to be paying as much as you actually use. So if you pay 120, essentially you could, you're paying $100 a month, but you only use so much of the plan. So let's say you get a credit back of maybe 80 bucks or so or something like that. That comes back to you. And they haven't said if it comes back to you in your account or if they roll it over to the next month. But if they do roll it over to the next month, basically, you'll kind of know what your base bill is, but it could vary every single month. You know, at the maximum, you're only going to spend this much. But as your usage goes up and down, you're going to be able to better manage. And you're only paying but so much per month for the data because you have credits sort of rolling over and so on. So I think that's a really interesting plan. It's going to benefit a lot of people that don't want to get stuck into one particular plan style. It's very similar to the rollover data, but instead of rolling over data, they're just giving you the cash credit back to keep using the plan and so on. So you're just paying for what you use. I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in that particular feature there. And I actually find like that. I think that's pretty cool, to be honest with you. I think that's one of the killer things about this over the other carriers. Now, for right now, it's only so many devices compatible with it. It's really only one. And it's a Nexus, so you're gonna need to have a Nexus 6 at least to be able to use the service. Now, right now the service is in invite only mode. They're going to throw out a few invites per week that they said. We'll leave the link in the description where you can sign up and get a request and invite to join the plan. I believe they're going to send you a Nexus 6. You'll be able to purchase Nexus 6 with it if you don't have one already. They haven't said if it's going to be a carrier branded Nexus, a Sprint or T-Mobile one or Verizon one, or it's got to be an unlocked one. They haven't said really much on that just yet, but overall, I really find Project Fi to be very interesting. It's kind of combining the best of wireless technology together and then giving you it at not necessarily an a la carte way, but sort of paying for what you actually use instead of paying over and not getting, not reaching your plan's maximum potential all the time. I think this is something that could really disrupt the network, disrupt this sort of cell phone networks that we have out here with AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile. I think it'll change their plans around a little bit, especially if it gets popular and it gets good really, really fast. And I could see this for the data generation, which we are. We're in the data generation now. This could be something that they're very, very interested in, but it's got to be proven to work well, and hopefully it's got to work well right off the bat, because if not, the companies that we have right now are tried and true in their service, and so Google's trying to come in and kind of disrupt that. So we'll see what happens here, but post your comments below. Let me know what you sort of think about this. I definitely, like I've said, I kind of think this is pretty cool, and hopefully you guys think so as well too. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video as well too, and always remember to live your tech world in high definition. Thanks for watching.